Hi, I'm Dr. Sashana Gordon, an obstetrician and gynecologist at Northside Hospital, Gwinnett. I'm so glad to be here with my patient, Taya Robinson. Taya is an incredibly strong and courageous woman who's joining us today to share her personal experience with uterine fibroids, something many women face but few talk about openly. Welcome to the Herd Couch, Taya. I'm so excited to talk with you today. When you think back, what made you think that something was wrong? What were some of the symptoms you were experiencing?
So I always considered myself to be a heavy bleeder. My periods were very long, 7+ days long of heavy bleeding. Plus, I had debilitating cramps pretty much throughout the whole entire period. I also had passing clots, so I had large clots that I was passing as well. And all of that really just culminated into me trying to figure out a solution for that. I think also I had low energy and I was experiencing fatigue, which really just greatly affected me. It was an inconvenience with going into work and having to get about throughout my day.
So an interesting thing is that fibroids are non-cancerous growths of the uterus. A lot of women experience it, but very few of them are open or willing to talk about it. Can you tell me, these symptoms sound pretty bad. How do they affect your daily life?
It really affected it compared to now. I realize, again, with the low energy, going about my daily activities, having to change my period products multiple times throughout the day. All of those things really affected me to where my daily activities was very low during that time of my period.
When we first talked about treatment options, you were understandably hesitant about going forward with a myomectomy. What were some of your concerns at the time, and what helped you say, okay, I'm ready to move forward with the surgery?
I think the biggest concern was how serious the issue was. And again, that was one of my first major surgeries to go under. My biggest concern was, of course, childbirth and future, pregnancies and all of that. And so I was very hesitant and worried of how that would affect me getting pregnant and having a child. And so that was my major concern.
I remember how we decided to go forward with the myomectomy for you. But do you remember when we discussed your treatment plan, initially we had you on tranexamic acid?
Yeah.
And that medication the goal of it is to help to lighten your menstrual cycle.
Right.
But I remember for you, it wasn't working in an optimal way. And so when we discussed further evaluation, we decided to move forward with an ultrasound. And that's when we discovered that you had, surprisingly at 25 years old, an enormous fibroid, measuring about 10 centimeters. For you, because it was so large, we decided to do an abdominal myomectomy. The reason we remove the fibroid and that the myomectomy procedure itself, when I describe it to you, is that we take that muscular mass out of the uterus and then we close it back in layers to allow it to heal well. Do you have fibroids in your family?
No. I have no family history of fibroids. And so if anything, it really opened the eyes for my family members, the women in my family as well, to just be more diligent of their own health and going to see their provider.
Since the myomectomy, how has it affected your life physically, emotionally, your day-to-day even?
Drastically different and much better, I would say. Energy levels started to come back up. I experienced my periods now were next to nothing, which is, I guess, considered regular.
Yeah.
And I never knew of a regular period prior to. So it's definitely been, I would say, a blessing just to see the other side of it.
What about emotionally?
Emotionally, I think it's been a relief to know that it's no longer there. To know that, I'm getting back on track. My body is kind of just healing and really trying to come to the acceptance of what life will look like after that.
Yeah.
Even in terms of bearing children, going through childbirth, all those things. It's really been a very emotional roller coaster, but very accepting too.
So from diagnosis through recovery, there have been a lot of steps in the journey. When did you feel most supported or truly heard throughout this process?
I think throughout this whole entire process, I really felt heard by you. and you answered all of my questions and eased all my concerns. And there was a sense of familiarity that I felt with you. Always coming in with a smile on your face in the office. And I really feel like this process, this journey has really made me feel like I have you in my corner as a friend, even though you are my doctor. You went out of your way to connect me with other patients who had similar stories as mine. That just blew my mind. I've never experienced that level of care before. And so that really put me in a state of calmness.
Good.
And just confidence of going forward that this would be the best way and that I will feel better afterwards.
So I want to know, what advice would you give to a woman that's struggling with fibroids?
I would definitely say reach out to Dr. Gordon, but go and speak to your gynecologist and really go into all the questions and concerns so that they can just ease your mind, and just know that whatever decision you make of whatever treatment options that there are, you will be taken care of. And it is worth it after the fact.
I agree with you. And I tell patients that all the time. You're going to feel so much better when you take care of this problem.
Yeah, and that's true.
Taya, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. If you're experiencing symptoms like heavy periods with low energy, pelvic pressure, painful periods, or persistent bloating, don't ignore these symptoms. Talk to your doctor today. Early understanding and treatment can make a major difference and can really help you take back control of your health and your life.